Hey, I am Jace and I'm a sex addict. Every week I come on and talk about my life as an addict or a person in recovery or the different things I'm learning through my documentary film, Suddenly Celibate. We've been traveling the country talking to experts about sex and relationships, love, lust, life, healthy living, and addiction and everything in between. It's been really cool. And people send in questions and I answer them. So a question I got in this week was about libido and sex drive while in recovery and addiction and all of that. So I thought that was an interesting question and one that like kind of took me some time to think about because my drive, desire, like even like the physical side of me has changed a lot over the last 2+ years, almost 3 years that I've been in recovery now. It's really transformed in a lot of ways. There was a good chunk of time where I had no sex drive at all while in recovery. I didn't want to be noticed. I didn't want to be looked at. I did not want to be attractive or sexy in any way. I really wanted to like disappear and hopefully no one in the room would see me or talk to me or touch me or anything like that. That was through a time of a lot of fear and uncertainty. I didn't know exactly what I was dealing with or how to deal with it. I didn't feel very safe. A lot of vulnerability in a negative, scary way. And so I really just didn't want any of that going on. And so that seemed to kind of shut down inside of me. I didn't want to go out, didn't want to meet anybody, anything like that. And from my understanding, that's pretty normal. That's a normal course of things through this. Any time, doing anything in therapy or if you're going through really hard stuff, like, digging back to childhood and abuse and I don't necessarily want people touching me, right? Or wanting to be with me. It seems pretty normal. There are other times where I am like a wild animal in a cage, where I'm just like, I can't sit still. I'm like tapping my fingers and, pumping my feet and walking, pacing back and forth for seemingly no reason at all. The full moon seems to really affect my sex drive. Caffeine really affects my sex drive. I have started to notice when I've become more aware of things that there's definitely certain times where it peaks that I can just, set my clock by. And there are different foods that I eat that affect it. The caffeine, like I said, like caffeine affects it. When I used to drink alcohol, that certainly sent it through the roof. The more I'm aware of it and that I don't have the shame around it, the more I can just be comfortable with it and accept it. One, that I don't have to act on it all of the time. And again, just as an important note, I think this is a big confusion. Sex addiction is not a high sex drive. Those are not the same things at all. Not at all. People confuse that. Sex addiction, high sex drive, not the same thing. Again, some sex addicts don't even engage in actual sex. There's a whole anorexia side. That was a big part of my addiction as well, which is really shutting down all kinds of social, sexual, or connected nourishment. That's definitely a whole different thing altogether. Some sex addicts do have a really high sex drive. Some don't at all, right? So just put that out there, make that clear. I think a big part of what's been really helpful to me with regard to that is to just accept wherever I'm at and not think that that's how it's going to be forever. That's what I would do. If I lost my sex drive, that's it. I will have no sex drive ever again, and I would go into like crisis mode. Or if it was really high, I would panic. Oh my gosh, like what's going on? And then I kind of learned, talking to other people and talking with the experts we've been interviewing, that everybody's sex drive does this throughout the day, throughout the week, throughout all of lifetime. And so there's not any reason to panic oftentimes, but something that experts have said is if there is a drop in sex drive that goes on for quite a while, it's good to have your hormones checked, just different physical things to check up on, because it is, some say that sex is like the barometer of how we're doing and how our relationships are and stuff. So it is good to be mindful of it. And I think that, from my understanding, there are some dangers that come with having no sex drive at all. Like there could be some other things, health-wise or mentally, whatever, at work. So if the question came in because someone's having like a really low sex drive, really low libido right now, it's worth talking to a doctor, I think. I'm kind of a believer in more information, the better. And then I kind of decide what to do with it instead of just being controlled by whatever's happening. If the sex drive is really, really high, I'd probably talk to a doctor about that too. I mean, I certainly know that having really strong urges can be distracting, to say the very least. But yeah, I think if I could go back and tell, a younger self me anything, it would just be to chill, like, and not put so much anxiety on my sex drive, and that's how it's going to be forever. And just really understand that a lot of that is tied up in hormones and chemicals and all the stuff that are changing all of the time, that react to all of the different things. And so they're going to be changing all the time. Nobody has one sex drive all of the time forever, and that's how it is. Or a couple always has like this, right? That goes like this. My understanding, when you have more than one person involved, then we're talking a whole other scenario with libido and sex drive and everything. So that's kind of where I've been. It's changing all the time, changes every day. I just now recognize it. Oh, okay, my sex drive's dropped a little, or ooh, that has gone up. I am definitely feeling it, and not necessarily reacting. I don't have to do anything with it. I'm just mindful of it. If I want to do something with it, then that's the option there. If I'm feeling like it's low for too long, then I'd talk to someone or see if there's supplements that need to be taken, a little more exercise, eating a little healthier, getting a little more sleep. There's so many things that what I've learned, all these things. People have already gone through all of the things that I've been feeling, and the answers are already out there. Just going to seek them and finding what's true for me, and working with people who already know what's up. So that's my take on my sex drive throughout all of this. Please feel super encouraged to send your questions in. You can do so on my website, suddenlycelibate.com. If this information is helpful to you in any way, please share these videos. If they can help one, they might be able to help somebody else. So if you find any of this info in these videos helpful at all, please do indeed share them, and we'll get more of the word out there that it's okay to talk about sex. I don't know why we pretend that we're not having it, or confused about it, or scared about it, or excited about it. We're in a very weird duality in our society when it comes to sex. So I, for one, think we ought to be talking about it, and that's what we're doing here. So spread the word, and send your questions in. I'll see y'all next week, and in the meantime, stay curious.